I've got 3 reasons why I think the Pixel 7 is going to be primed for success as opposed to what happened with the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro from the get-go. And we're going to talk about that. But first, ta-da, I got my silver play button. So I'm excited about that. And I just wanted to share it with everybody because so many of you who show up every day and watch my videos, especially my Pixel fans, help make this happen. So thank you very much. Now, the 3 reasons that I think that the Pixel 7 is primed for success over the Pixel 6, one, is the software. And I think we can all look at it and say, yeah, the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro really whiffed at home plate, swinging at the baseball whenever it came to software. Swing and a miss. It was not ready. It should have been held back. And honestly, it caused a lot of different brands problems, not just the Pixel phones. So the Pixel 6 started with Android 12. It's now an Android 13. Maybe you thought about this. There were people who were concerned about the Android 13 experience once the Pixel 7 finally launched. We were thinking we were going to get both at the same time. And that didn't happen. Google actually pushed out Android 13 early. So what that means is that the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro already have an official working model of the software. This isn't going to be a launch day. Oh, by the way, we launched the software at the same time. Let's see what calamity of concoction that we created is going to hit the market and what kind of problems we're going to have. That shouldn't be an issue. That's really reassuring. I like that. I'm glad that they pushed it out early. That way, one, maybe it gives people a little bit of confidence, other than the fact that they've still been messing things up. But I'm going to ignore that for now. Looking at the Pixel 7, the 7 Pro, I think that it's going to be in a better spot than the 6 was, launching the same day with Android 12. So the second thing that I think is going to prime them for success and be a different scenario than with what we got with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, Tensor 2. And there were a lot of people who probably in retrospect saying, yeah, looking backward, they were probably right to say that the Tensor chip, the first generation, probably shouldn't buy that one. And every time we get a new phone, of course, yes, things change. It's a new processor basically every time we get a new phone. They're pretty good at this stuff by now, especially Qualcomm with the Snapdragons. They've had a few duds here and there. I think it was, the 806 or the 808? Horrible. It was in the LG G Flex 2. It was also in the BlackBerry Priv. Got super insanely hot, like a raging inferno sun all the time. And it would shut down and it would shut off and have boot looping issues. Lots of problems. So it's not just it's not an exclusive to Google and the Tensor chip issue. Sometimes there's just chips that aren't that great. So Tensor 2, hopefully there's a lot of lessons learned jam-packed in that tiny little processor that make for a better experience. Also, hand in hand with the new chip and having the year of experience is the optimization that Google and the Google development team have now that they've been programming for the Tensor chip already for 1 year. So starting with Android 13, also having the Tensor 2 chip, I think it's going to be more primed for success. I think it's going to be better off than the last version. I think we're going to have a better start off. So first we have the software. Second, we have the new chip. Second generation of that. The third reason I think is going to be primed for success is the camera. Here's one thing with the Google cameras. And a lot of people actually were saying that it was bad, that the Pixel 6a had the last generation camera. The last generation camera had several years under its belt of development, of testing, of refinement, of making everything better for it. Google has a history of using the same camera year over year and getting even better and better and better results. They can keep squeezing that lemon and making a bunch of magical lemonade, and it's a great thing that Google is typically able to do with their phones. So we've got the software, Android 13, been out for a little while, should be mature enough that when it hits the market, it'll be good. The second generation with the Tensor chip, but then, yes, there's more, the camera. I think it's going to be better. I think we're going to have a better camera experience. It wasn't the most perfect. Of course, there's going to be more integration, more updates, more taking advantage of all the different pipelines and the stuff with the computational photography, the specialized AI and machine learning cores that the Tensor chip has, which has a lot more than other chips. Yes, it does. And that's one thing people really try to bog down on the Tensor chip and say, well, it's not as fast, it's not as powerful. It is more powerful. I think the GPU was much more powerful in the Tensor than it was in the 888 and the 8 generation 1. We're expecting to have a supersized, probably amount of GPU cores again. It's going to be streamlined and even better than ever for the things that Google does best, like computational photography, the same thing that Apple's trying to do now that they gave a name to with that photonic drive or whatever they're calling it. That's basically all it is. Apple is pulling a Google, except they gave it a name. And I really wish that Google would have given it some sort of name. I think that would have been better to kind of help establish themselves in the market, but I don't think their marketing team thinks that far ahead. They really need to get more ahead of the power curve in trying to establish things like that, because Google is very good at creating things and then they just leave them on the wayside. They don't give them a name, and Apple gives everything a name and then they own it, whether they created it or not. So maybe Google can do something like that moving forward, come up with a catchy name, but I expect it to be better. I think the camera experience will be better. I really hope they find a way to work around that near short field focus issues that I identified that other people have noted. When you get the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, that 50 megapixel primary sensor, very large sensor, depth of field on it is not so good up close. So when you have something up close, it has a hard time focusing very well on the entire object. You can move it around if you tap on the screen, but a lot of people especially remarked about having problems taking pictures of like checks and uploading them, taking pictures of up close things. That's something I like to do. I really wish they would have put a dedicated macro. That really would have alleviated that, and that's what Samsung and Apple do. So maybe we'll get that. Who knows? Maybe they'll do some magical work with the telescopic or the telephoto camera they have, and they'll give us a macro. I would love that. Who knows? But the overall normal camera experience, I expect to be better. I think we're going to get better looking pictures, better samples, better low light, all sorts of different things, and it's going to be built on the backbone of the Tensor 2. So those three things, I think, are going to lead to priming the phone for success. And also, kind of a fourth one, unspoken. This really isn't anything to do with the phone itself. This is actually Google doing something smart for once. And I always hated Google when it came to like the Pixel 2, the 3, the 4. They were charging so much money. They charged a lot of money back then for phones that people weren't going to pay that much money for. They learned their lesson, I think, finally with the Pixel 4. Kind of took it back a notch with the Pixel 5, but they stepped it down to more of a mid-ranger. Now we have the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 7. With the Pixel 6, they did something very dynamic. $899 for the Pro, $599 for the regular model. And I think that really struck a chord with people who are interested in the phones, and they sold like hotcakes, especially from the beginning. So I'm fully expecting that with the $899 Pixel 7 Pro, which is what we have from the leaked marketing, and also a $599 Pixel 7, keeping it the same price, even with the inflation, even with the stock market, even with the supply chain going to poop, I think that we're going to be in a better position, and I think that they're going to sell well. Because if you look and still see, Apple, yes, they kept their prices the same, but I think part of that might have had to do with competition. Samsung, they didn't raise their prices, and there were so many people saying that Samsung would raise their prices and that Apple would raise their prices. On both of them, I called fouls. I said, no, neither one of those are going to happen. I was right. I'm very happy about that. But if this stays the same and everything sticks the way it's supposed to be, $599 for the Pixel 7, $899 for the 7 Pro, the improvements, the refinements, you're still going to get 5 years of security patches. Here's something, I wouldn't be too surprised if they did this. If we pay attention, they offer 3 years of operating system updates. I wouldn't be surprised if they pushed it up another year and gave us 4 like Samsung does, because it's really embarrassing that Samsung actually offers more operating system updates than Google does. So I would like to see Google step up and match that. I'd really like them to see them go 5 and 5. And then that would put Samsung back in the corner to reevaluate what they're doing, and maybe that would work out and come out in our favor too. The longer we get support, the more wins it is for the consumer, the better it is for you and me buying these. Of course, I haven't held onto a phone in 5 years, and I don't know how long, but maybe you do. And maybe the Pixel 7 is the one to do that. But that's kind of the fourth reason. But all those reasons combined, I think the 7 and the 7 Pro are going to be set up for success much better than the Pixel 6 was. Of course, it's always Google. They're always subject to falling on their own face and tripping over their own shoes and getting in their own way. But on paper, this is my analysis of the situation, and I think we're going to be in a better off spot. And I'd like to see that. I really would, because they have been through so much with the Pixel 6, and the owners of the Pixel 6 phones have been through even more. We need some stability. We need Google to come out and do better with a lot of different things. And I think they're on the right foot here. And we'll just have to see once it gets here. But I'm excited about the phone less than 2 weeks away, the day of recording this. So that's all I got. What do you think? Do you think that the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro are going to be in a better spot? They'll be more primed for success? Or do you think it's going to be more of the same old with what we experienced with the Pixel 6? Sound off in the comments. Let's talk about it. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please go into the comments section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you like this stuff, you like the Pixel videos, well, stay tuned. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell. Make sure you have all notifications on if you want, indeed, all of them, if Google decides to push them to you, which they really don't. But it makes me feel better. So if you want more content, stay tuned, because the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro right around the corner. I'm going to get both of them. I will cover them extensively, as well as the Pixel Watch. I've been doing some more wearable stuff. Got the Apple Watch Ultra here. I've got the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. I'm going to buy, or hopefully they'll send it to me. That would be better, so I can spend my money on that too. But one way or the other, I'm getting the Pixel Watch, so I will compare all three of them together. Well, maybe separate videos, but I will compare them to try and let you know what the best watch is out there. Maybe I'll cover some more wearables. What do you think? If you're interested in the wearables, you want to see more videos, sound off and let me know what you think about that. But that's all I got. I'm done talking, I promise. I'll let you get about your merry way. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time.